Peace family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how they are always watching, waiting to see if you're going to crash out. You know, I didn't want to say they're watching and waiting for your downfall, because usually we don't never hit the pits of the bottom of the hole to the point to where it meets the imagery that they perceived us in previously. So we'll have a lot of people that come into our lives, whether just in the spiritual realm, they never addressed you in the physical realm, you never seen them, but they're always kind of in your physical presence. You just never acknowledge them to actually shine the light on them, so that way their presence is felt when you guys are in the same vicinity. So what I mean by that is kind of like when you get a new car, you never see that car on the road until you get the new car. Now you see the car everywhere. Same thing with these physical vessels. You could go to a same store every single day, but if you don't have anything to a vibration, an energy vibration, whether you know any kind of the emotions, or if you haven't really engaged with the being, you'll notice that you kind of just blindly move around without noticing them. But for the other ones, we do got beings that's been in our lives that do tend to watch us, you know, that's been in our lives for a long time. And then we also got the ones who are just, you know, just popping in and out as they choose to and as we allow them to enter our lives or not. But what kind of dove me into this subject today was about, you know, they always watching and waiting. We understand that we're in the middle of a spiritual battle. We understand that, you know, all of the vibes that come with being with Source and the Creator. We understand all the vibes that come with being with the demonic team. So for most of us in this space, people that has, if you've been in this space for a while, people that is engaging with you now, they already understand your mind set and how you process things, which playbook you're using. A lot of these people will come into our life and they don't plan on being an asset, which is why they're always watching and looking and waiting to see if we are going to crash out, if we're going to burn out, you know, if we just going to collapse, or they may just be wanting to see if our vibration will drop a little bit lower than theirs so they can feel above us. That's always been a weird process for me, but I understood it, especially once I started doing music and researching and learning the things that I've learned now. Because I've always learned my whole life, but I was learning different information previously. Now I make sure the information that I'm learning is relevant and is conducive to, you know, the walk of life with Source. So, like when I said music, it was just reminding me of an example of how when I first started doing music, I had to reach out to a lot of people for collaborations, just, you know, just to network. I was jumping into the realm, so I was new, so I had to do certain things in order to have my vibration felt in this realm. As far as the music and the proximity range that I'm in, everybody already know you kind of have to move around. You can do your thing outside of your city and your town, but you really want to be stamped and known in your town for, you know, your walk of life, whatever you put your vibration energy into, even if it's not by the whole town. And I had to reach out to a lot of people, you know. A lot of people already had their circles together. A lot of people just didn't want to work with me because I'm me. We had some people that only wanted certain type of beats, you know. And I used to do that a while ago, do certain type beats. That's how I got my channel going through the algorithms. I'm really good at just figuring out algorithms, especially when I focus my energy. And I realized those wasn't the avenues I wanted to go, so this will kind of transition me to being more solid in this method right here. And back then, I used to have an excuse for why I could engage with these beings in the music realm, but then it was really difficult to get collaborations on my beats at the time. So once I got through that transition, I kind of made it to this space over here. I've been in this space for a little while now. Now what I see what's happening is, I would say within like the past 2 or 3 years, I had some people come into my life on personal level, and I had plenty coming on business levels. But on the personal levels, they'll come in and they all tell me that, oh, hey, I do music. What I do now is I don't offer any beats out. I don't tell them that they can go here to check some out. They just already know, because I go by TrakBeatz. Most of them are meeting me at the space that I'm in now, so they already know that I do beats. But the ones that I've been personally engaging with, it's like I've been in a space where we did engage on some of those kind of conversations. We did talk about the kind of music that they wanted to make and do these things. And from males to females, both parties, I've sent them beats and they have never gotten on those beats. But then it'll be weeks later, days later, usually days later or weeks later. I ain't gonna say months later. It's usually days or weeks later. And they be like, hey, I recorded this new song. Hey, I was just working on this new song. And in my world, I've already walked the life where people ask for this work, they get it, and then they don't use it, and then they bring something else to me. But when people do this to me, especially people in my personal life, it's like, you know that I'm a music producer, and you've received beats from me, but then you choose not to use those beats, but then you still choose to conversate with me about your other projects that you're working on with other producers, as if like I'm supposed to be excited for you or pat you on the back or something like that. And in my world, it's like, I don't give a fuck about none of that. Like, if you was as solid as you say you are, then it should be no reason why we aren't collabing. I say that to say because I got into the music producing the way I do now because my little brother he was an artist. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but he was into music heavy. And I was trying to figure out a way to implement myself into his life to help him. I was figuring out a way to implement myself into his life to help him. He's an artist. I started off writing because I always freestyle, did that stuff a little bit, but that wasn't something that I really saw myself or wanted to do. I could just do it. But then I was like, my other brother had the beat making program. He wasn't really putting the time and energy into it. So I'm like, bro, I'm about to drive up there to New York and get the program, put it on my computer, blah, blah, blah. We can get the work from there. So for me doing that, that opened a whole new portal to how you guys got me here now. Because I only got the camera because I wanted to have more artists. I wanted to be able to offer better deals with the beats. I'm like, all right, well, once I start getting artists on the beats, it's like, all right, well, I want to see the visuals. People are watching and listening to that more. So it's like, all right, I can give a better budgeted deal, use these beats. You know, I either chop the price down on the videography work, or depending on our relationship, first starting out, there may not even be an actual budget number set, because I was more concerned with getting the brand and the name out more so than chasing the dollar bill. That's just always been my process. And from me being in that space, I understood that when I really cared about my little brother, so I really wanted to help him. But I didn't need my little brother to tell me, hey, could you start making beats? Or hey, could you, start trying to help me market my music or do any of these things? It's like, no. I dove into that space because I wanted to genuinely help him. I don't have $1 million I could just drop on the table and be like, here, bro, here's a producer, here's a label, here's all these things. It's like, no, I have to put the actual footwork in, which means that I have to take time away from things that I was doing before to implement myself somewhere else, that meant that I had to learn different things. I didn't know how to make beats, so I had to learn the whole program, which I taught myself through YouTube and Google, and then just experiencing. Same thing, I learned a lot of things in life. I'm a hands-on kind of being. But I say that to say, like, I had like two recent, not like recent, like yesterday recent, but like within the past couple months recently, I've had some people who do music. One had just started doing music, they just got their recording equipment, and the other one said that they've been doing it for a while. And I gave both of them some play, you know. You get some beats over here, you get some beats over here. They both did the exact same thing. They both asked for beats, they knew I did beats, I sent them, and then like days or a week later, they're showing me projects that they did over somebody else's beat, and it's like, I give kudos to all the producers. I don't be, you know, I'm not one of those haters or people who be like, this, that, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right, cool. But in my spiritual realm, I'm already knowing that, all right, they not on my team. They don't have my best interests at heart. Another situation which don't even have anything to do with music, which put me in the space of coming up with the title that I did today, as far as like, they always watching and waiting for you to crash out, is because one of those people who does music, it was in my personal space. I just mentioned two of them. One of them as well was in my personal space, and they threw out this random comment one day, and they was like, I see your YouTube channel numbers aren't doing that well right now. And it's like, you met me through what I do. So in my world, I put myself right back in my shoes when I was helping my brother. He didn't have to tell me to do anything to help him or to assist him. I just did it. This other person, they've been watching my channel and my numbers, but they haven't reshared, they haven't reposted, they haven't implemented any ideas they can help. They know that I got real life shit going on that I be dealing with, and anybody that do content creation full time, you out your damn mind if you think you could just sit here and just flood it every single day and keep your energy balanced the way that you like it balanced. That's why it's not as easy to kind of just bing them out day, you know, and they don't have the same validity if you do that for a year straight. You know, we real life people out here, or at least I am. I cannot speak for everybody else, you know what I mean? But that put me in this weird space of being like, this another person who claimed to be spiritual, then tried to sneak their way in the door because I give chances and opportunities based off of they wanting to grow and learn certain things. Really what they was doing was they was feeding off of me. They wasn't adding anything to me. They was feeding off of me and then trying to cast spells on me and then see how I am handling things afterwards, which is how I got to, they're always watching and waiting for something negative to happen. In my world, if I met somebody, vice versa, in these shoes, I wouldn't be like, oh, I see your numbers aren't doing that great. See, for me, when they was talking about that week where my numbers weren't doing that good, I already understand that I have to talk about certain things in order to get into the algorithms to get them to move. But for me, I'm unorthodox and I don't like when people tell me what to do. So I'll do the ones that push into the algorithm, but I'll do some self-awareness ones, some pointing the finger back at us type videos too, which don't get as many views, which I'm okay with that, because I wasn't, if I was chasing a dollar bill, trust me, I would be flooding this thing with 2-3 pieces of content every single day, because I do enough to where I could. It's just in the spiritual war, taking in this position, it requires a lot of energy work. A lot of energy work. Is a lot of obstacles, trials. It's a lot of attacks that happen. I don't get out here and complain about getting attacked. It's just part of the situation I signed up for. If I didn't want to get attacked and by those beings or those entities, I would have took the other path and avenue. I went viral doing beat remakes. I was only doing beats I started in 2015. Nicki Minaj used the beat for the Tatiana that went viral in 2017. I didn't know when I was little or when she came out that I would have her on beats. I know people been doing beats longer than 2-3 years, and they still don't have any big name artists. Now, I said to say, like, Bust Down Barbiana, that's my BM on the producer tag in the beginning. It's a lot of things that kind of transpired. Even if I didn't get no bag from them, because we already know how the industry works. They just steal. They steal. And what's crazy about that situation was I ended up getting denied 3 times for monetization from YouTube. So I was already trying to get monetized when that situation happened with the Tatiana and her Nicki Minaj management group stealing the beat from my channel. YouTube ended up noticing that I've been had it posted already and that I had already copywritten it behind the scenes, so they ended up monetizing my channel. They didn't give me the back pay for it, but they kept my channel monetized, and it's been going up and up from there. You know, it's just a little bit slower grind because of the information I choose to discuss and talk about. But yeah, when that being had said that about, I see your channel numbers aren't doing that great, I was just like, first word came to my mom was, bitch, who you? It was like a spiritual slap when they said it, and I was just like, I'm a one-man team doing all this solo dolo. I don't be talking to me or stepping in my space. I'm a full-time dad at the same time too, you know what I mean? With a full-time witch that is constantly projecting energy to me, even if I don't talk to her. I don't have to communicate with my BM. I'll just get a random text message. Oh, could you not have Lexi do this, or could you make sure you do, like, it's always something weird when we parallel parenting. But when she has stuff going on over there, it depends on how it's flowing, depending on what kind of weird vibe she want to send to me. And we only communicate through one avenue, but we have to because of the courts. So if I didn't have any of that, I would have no witches around me right now. But there's always one at least permanent witch that's right there right now until everything is swept around. But that person had said that not too far behind another one of the old beings I was talking to. As soon as I get on the phone with them, first thing they do is start running me down music that don't have anything to do with TrakBeatz. It's like, it's weird when you go to, you got the owner of Target in your house, right? But you are constantly bringing home Walmart products. You're constantly talking about Walmart. Target isn't mad, but Target business-wise understands that that's competition. Why are you not supporting the one that's closer to you? Oh, I get it, because you don't want to see Target rise. You need Walmart. You don't even care about Walmart. You're just doing Walmart because it's the opposite of Target. A lot of these beings already understand that, you know, what we do out here requires us working together, requires a team. They understand that when they come into our lives that we're adding value to them. But they don't have no insight or willingness to want to reciprocate that value back into you. One, because they usually don't have any value, and two, because it's a war. They're not allowed to. They'll have to pay for adding on to you to help the other team move up. They'll have to pay for adding on to you for helping the righteous team move up. They have to pay for these things. You haven't ever seen somebody get really angry or bitter, like they gave you a little hand with something, and you, like, let's just say they gave you 50 cents, you know, and they're like, yeah, that's all I got. It's this 50 cents, you know, I always try to help where I can. You come back a couple days later, you know, turn that 50 cent into $500. Now they looking like, oh, well, how did you do that? Like, what did you do? Like, it's not even that they're excited for you that you took it and you flipped it. It's more so that they're kind of mad and frustrated that you actually made something shake. You took 50 cents and made $500 out of it. They couldn't do that, so now they're trying to figure out, how did they get this process? How did they come up with this? You know what I mean? why do when I say certain things around them or to them about other beings or other things and places and locations, why is it not riling them up? Why aren't they getting bent out of shape? You know, why are they keeping their composure? Most of us being in this space for a while, we already understand that you're opposition. You're opposition. So if you ain't riding with me, you riding against me. If you ain't riding with me, you riding against me. There is no such thing as fence riders over here. I know a lot of people make it seem like, oh yeah, well, just because I'm not hurting you don't mean that I'm not watching you hurt yourself. That's how weird and witchy this world is. Like, they won't shoot you. They won't pick up the gun and shoot you. They'll bring the gun to the house, make sure it's loaded, sit it on the table, and then we'll have you drinking alcohol to the point to where now you're picking it up and now you're sabotaging yourself. But technically their hands clean because they aren't actually doing it. They just brought the tool there for you to utilize it, and they're gonna watch you self-sabotage with no assistance on helping. We have to be mindful of the beings that surround us in our life. If they're not riding with you, they're riding against you. There is no other middle grounds with it. All the things that you didn't know before, you learned and you figured it out. So why isn't the same thing happening on other shit? When they have things going on, don't you know how to put yourself in other people's shoes to be empathetic and sympathetic and then be able to correlate some kind of answer, solution, you know, to the problem or equation or whatever it is? They won't offer the same reciprocation. A lot of these beings want you to tell them what to do, so that way they can feel more valued and more empowered, so that way when they stop doing it, it's like you asked them to do it. See, I'm not with playing all these games, so I won't put myself in a space of where I'm asking you to do these things. Like, I'll have conversations and talk to you, and I'll give you examples about how I went out my way to give energy to beings and people and to jump into their future to be able to assist them with ideas and different things, or actually take some steps with them or for them. You know what I mean? Opposed from how it is on the opposite side of the spectrum and they are not doing these things. It makes life easier processing once you realize that it's only two teams out here. So the same person that didn't want to give you a ride, the same person that didn't want to answer the phone call, the same person that didn't want to help you out on the job site, you know what I mean? The same person that just is there but not there at the same time, they are against you. I have people that be trying to come around and be like, hey, give me a call back if you want to talk. I'm like, talk about what? You already see what I have going on. If you cannot add to it, then I don't really know what I'm supposed to be talking to you about. I honestly don't know what I'm supposed to be talking to you about. I've talked to enough people with giving them insight and helping them and assisting them in their areas. And sometimes I would like the energy reciprocated. But since it doesn't get reciprocated over here in this space, you know what? I have to put on a harder shell. I have to be more of an asshole. I have to cut things off faster, sharper, more precise. You know, I have to be more brutally honest. You know why? Because most of the people don't hang around long enough anyways. Most of the people are not even riding with the same team as me. And then once they understand how solid I am with my walk in the Creator, they automatically start doing weird stuff or pretending to be dumb, blind, and naive. You know what I mean? So when I had heard that statement about, see, the numbers aren't doing that great, it's like, motherfucker, I got people all around the world who shared me to more of their social medias than you. You may have commented on the video, but I've never seen you share one piece of content. So it's weird that you're saying that you have my best interests at heart, but then you aren't doing the things to show that you do have my best interest at heart. It's showing the opposite, that you are waiting for my downfall. You are waiting for something negative to happen to me. You are waiting to make sure that, my self-esteem or confidence got beat so much that I don't even want to get up here and communicate and engage and do what I've been doing before you was even in the picture. But that's not my vibes, you know what I mean? I just be having real life stuff going on, and I'm a dad, which comes first before everything. You know what I mean? Not before the bag, because I gotta get that too, and not before the creator. But y'all know what I mean. Like, I'm not making all the money in the world sitting here doing this right now. It's some people, content creators, who started their channel 3, 4, 5 months ago, and they got way more engagements, followers, subscribers, and all of that stuff than me. And it's like, kudos to them. But that's their avenue. This is my avenue, my track, my path, that I'm going this way. It's the road less traveled. So of course it's gonna be a little bit more bumps and obstacles in the way. You know, I am gonna have to put in, where they put 3 months in that to get to my numbers, I had to put 2 years to get to the numbers where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? But this is more fulfilling than having to do some buffoonery or some coonery stuff just to kind of get a thumbs up or a like, you know, or a subscription or subscriber. Like, you either vibe with me or you don't. Everybody that's been vibing, knowing that I've been the same being since I started. You can go all the way back to the old content, you know what I mean? But I ain't want to run it up too long. They always keeping their eye out. They always watching. They always waiting to see what's going on. You know, be careful of them Hoover phone calls and text messages, because it's really not about checking up on you to see how you doing or just wanting to say, hey. It's usually a temperature check, and they want to see if you've become weaker. You know, if you have any leaks in your pipes, if you have any holes in your spaces to where, you know, they can put some toxic in there, or they can ooze some toxic out of there. You know what I mean? But be mindful of these things. I just had somebody recently say, I was passing through your town, your city, and I just wanted to say, hey. It's like, for what? Hay is for horses. Like, we don't engage on anything productive opposed from you just saying hey to see if I'm gonna be responsive, to see how I'm gonna respond to you messaging me, even though you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 since I've known of you. You know what I mean? But just keep these things in mind. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.